All right, so we'll start with number 1 all together. We have P is equal to A times X minus D, and we are solving this for X. So that means the X over here on the right is the letter that I want to get by itself. So over here with X has a coefficient of A, right? Those are being multiplied, and we always do the coefficient last. We always do the coefficient last. So the other thing on the right side with X is this minus D. So first, I'm going to move this negative D over to the left side. So since it's negative over here on the right, when I move it over, I'm going to add it. So that leaves me with A times X over here is equal to, again, these aren't like terms, so I don't combine them. So you would just have P plus D. And then now the only thing over here with X is that coefficient of A. And the coefficient, when they're glued together like that, that means multiplication. So to undo the multiplication, I divide. So divide by A. And we can't actually divide either of these by A. So we can just leave that as P plus the D divided by A is equal to the X. Which means the correct answer is the crown. So in number 1, everybody should have a red crown with like a gray background. All right, number 2 looks a lot like ones on your notes. Number 3 is pretty easy too. Let's do 4. So A is equal to B times H divided by 2. And we are solving for B. So this is kind of like the last one on your notes. B is being multiplied by H, but we have to do that last. We have to do that last. The other thing on this side is this divided by 2. So if we have to do this last, then I need to get rid of the division first. So how do I undo a divided by 2? Multiply by 2. So that the multiplication cancels out the division. So then I have 2A is equal to B times H. And then now the only other letter over here is the H that it's being multiplied by. Remember, when it's glued, it's multiplication. So if B is being multiplied by H, then I'm going to divide by H. And I can't actually divide either of these things by the variable, so I just leave it. 2A divided by H is equal to the B. And so that is also over here. Number 5, I'm not going to go through that one with you either because we have a couple of those like on our notes, but I do want you to write in a -1 right here. So our y has a coefficient of -1. You always do that last. You always do that last. But there's also this 5x. So once you move over the 5x, you still have to get rid of the coefficient, okay? All right, so then let's look at page 2 because I want to do number 8. And then that'll be the last one that I do with you guys because the rest are pretty similar. All right. Number 8, I gave you one with an exponent. The circumference is equal to pi times the radius squared. And we are trying to get r by itself. So r has an exponent of 2. But again, when we're doing inverse operations, you're doing like the opposite of PEMDAS. So in this case, we do need to get rid of the coefficient before we get rid of the exponent. And it's only because there's an exponent here. So if the r squared is being multiplied by pi, we're going to divide by pi. And we can't actually divide by pi, so we're just going to bring that down. C divided by pi equals r squared. So that's the only time you move the coefficient first, is if there's an exponent. And this is the only one that there's an exponent. So always move the coefficient last. Always move the coefficient last. Can anybody for a piece of candy now tell me what's the inverse of a square? Morgan? No. Dividing is the opposite of multiplying. Troy? The square root. Very good. So now to get rid of this square, I am going to take the square root of both sides. So the square root is going to cancel out the exponent, just like division undoes multiplication. The root is going to undo the exponent. And then again, over here, I can't actually take the square root of these things, so I get to just rewrite it. R is equal to the square root of C divided by pi. All right. So the rest of them are going to be very similar. They're similar to ones you have on your notes. When you guys are working